when it comes to money? Does money just kind of flow in and flow right back out and you feel real good every time you're purchasing something? That can feel fantastic, and I love that you are so generous of mind and heart, and let's make sure that you are taking care of yourself financially. If you're new here, my name is Lindsay. I'm a certified financial therapist, licensed social worker, author of the book, The Financial Anxiety Solution, and founder of the financial wellness business, Mind, Money, Balance. My business helps people at the intersection of money and mental health. While I help people one-on-one, my private practice is full and honestly kind of bursting at the seams. So my favorite thing to do at this season in life is to come to you, come to your workplace, come to your school, come to your conference to help your employees, your teammates, your colleagues, your peers understand the intersection of money and mental health. We are working our way through the 4 different financial archetypes, and today we're talking about the free spirit. Take a second here to just listen to this cluster of things to see if this might be you. Do you find yourself thinking or believing spending money is the purpose? You cannot take your money to the grave after all. Do you feel like it is hard for you to show up empty-handed to a party or to a housewarming or to anything like that? You always need a little gift, a little gift card, a little treat that you need to bring. Is it hard for you to separate who you are from the things that you have or from the things that you own? AKA, you tie your self-image up to your self-worth. Are you a hyper optimist, AKA you buy things and you tell yourself, it doesn't matter, I will figure out a way to pay that bill by the time the bill comes due? If those things sound familiar to you, you might be a free spirit. Free spirits have a lot of strengths and a lot of challenges. Some of the challenges are also some of their strengths. That's how it tends to work. We tend to be 2 sides of the same coin when it comes to many things in life, but in particular, our financial archetypes. Our free spirit folks may be more likely to emphasize the outward displays of money, things like wanting the latest gadget or the nicest brand or living in the best place or taking the fanciest vacation. They may tend to emphasize the way things look as a placeholder for the way that they feel. I know, we went deep real quick, real fast on this one. Free spirits tend to have this amazing persona of who they are with these outward displays, but they might struggle internally with whether or not they are worthy or deserving of the love, care, attention, and respect that they all deserve, that we all deserve as humans. Because of this, they may be more likely to overspend. They may be more likely to justify their spending. And the justification can sound like a couple of things. It might sound like what I mentioned earlier, like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll be getting a tax refund or I'll be getting a rebate soon so I can afford it. Or they might be able to justify it like, well, I only turned 40 once, or well, my sister only has a baby for the first time once, right? Creating these different justifications for why it's okay to spend money. They also may be more likely to take some risks, and this could be literally like gambling a bit more than others, but it could also be taking on a bigger mortgage than they can afford. You know, those mortgage lenders are so savvy and they're like, oh, you can totally afford X dollars a month, but they really push you to the edge of what is actually safe to afford. So they may take on greater risks. They might be more comfortable taking on higher amounts of credit card debt or playing kind of the credit card loan game where they get a bunch of credit cards, they start to max them out, they transfer them over to some sort of zero balance, then they take out a personal loan to cover that. They're doing a lot of this like shell game stuff when it comes to their money. And they might also be a little bit embarrassed about it. And so they hide this from others. This could be literal, like they go on a shopping spree and take off all the tags and quickly throw them into their closet so their partner doesn't see. Or it could be they have a credit card that their partner doesn't know about. Or in really extreme cases, I have seen parents take out credit cards in their kids' names or in their loved ones' names to support some of the spending habits. Now, this does not mean it is all bad. They also have a tendency to be incredibly generous and incredibly thoughtful, which is why I said it's kind of 2 sides of the same coin. Their optimism can also be rewarded if we are channeling it into community care, into relationship care, or into spirituality. We want them to nurture their strong capacity for optimism, but we also want to kind of sprinkle it around into other places so that they can have their financial needs met as well as as their emotional health, their spiritual health, their community health. These folks are fantastic at being able to kind of nudge you into enjoying the finer things in life. And so we can use them as a counterbalance if we are struggling with our relationship with money. What I like to do with a free spirit is to give them some sort of like fun money runway. I do this as a person with ADHD, but this can also be really helpful if you are a free spirit. And this might look like every single month you're allowed to spend X dollars however you want, but once that money is gone, it is gone. So you might be able to splurge on a really fancy cheese board when you're hosting a game night one night, because that felt really fun and exciting. But then at the end of the month, if you want to go and get that artisan ice cream, but you only have a few bucks left in your fun money account, you might have to wait until the next month. Who tends to end up in this free spirit money archetype? Research shows that folks who have grown up in a lower socioeconomic status may be more likely to end up in this archetype, which makes perfect sense. If we grew up in a household where we were told we can't afford that, that's not for people like us, we may develop this idea that if I had more money, then I could have all of these things that were just out of reach, and develop this desire for the things or the stronghold for these things. The other reason that I think a person may end up in this, I want to consume things that are fun and exciting and shiny when they're lower socioeconomic status, is to kind of take a trauma lens to it. For example, we understand that if a person grew up in a food insecure household where we didn't know where the next meal was coming from, it would make sense that even as an adult who maybe has financial stability and knows where their next meal is coming from, they may struggle when it comes to unlimited food. Like at a buffet, they may pile on more food than they can safely consume because they grew up in a place where they didn't know where their next meal was going to come from. So it's hardwired into them now that when that food is available, I am going to consume it all. How this plays into money is if money is coming in, we're not really sure when we're going to have it again, it makes perfect sense that when that money comes in, we may buy the flat screen TV, the nice sneakers, and treat our friends to drinks because we're not sure when that money is going to come again. So this free spirit, if we look at it through the lens of money trauma or survivorship, it makes perfect sense that when money comes in, we might be excited to have it flow right out because we may be hardwired to not know when that money is going to be here again. We want to tend to it, we want to tune to it, and start helping somebody who has this free spirit mentality that when that money comes in, we want to siphon some of it off to take care of our future selves. This might look like paying down high interest loans. It might look like funding an emergency fund. It might look like making sure we're putting money away for retirement, but we want to siphon some of that money off for the idea that more money will come, but we also want to have our coffers full for other things too. Do you think you might be a free spirit? Find out by taking my quiz at mindmoneybalance.com/quiz, where you can learn more about your strengths and challenges when it comes to your financial archetype. See you next time.